Yeah. So recording started, team. So let's quickly discuss about the Azure Databricks Unity Catalog. So we will discuss today what is Unity Catalog with the hands-on demo. Let's try to understand. See, because this is not something you are going to develop it. It is a one-time activity. Okay. Now, so going forward, we are you will not be able to even get to know like what is Unity Catalog and all. You are not even trying to know those things because everybody is moving their workspaces into the Unity Catalog. Okay, so from next let's say down to the 6 months from now, so every Databricks workspace moved to the Unity Catalog. So you will not feel like you need to move your Databricks workspace into the Unity Catalog because you are already working in the Unity Catalog. This is not mainly for developers. Okay, it is not a coding something, right? So it is mainly used for controlling the permissions. Okay, so for example, you have normally if you look at any IT organization, what happens? You will have a developers. On developers, you have a team lead. On team lead, you will have the manager. On the manager, you will have the delivery manager. So on top of delivery manager, you will have the uh, service line manager. Under service line manager, sorry, on top of the service line manager, you will have the regional manager. On top of the regional manager, so you will have the some kind of a CTO on top of that CEO. So there is a hierarchy, right? Similarly, why we are maintaining this hierarchy? So because, for example, I have the three offices, let's imagine. So one office is at Chennai, one office at Hyderabad, one office at Bangalore. Now what happens? It is very difficult for me to handle these three different offices individually, right? That's why I need a one person who can able to coordinate the things what is happening in these three, and he should give me the one solution saying that okay, this is what is happening here, this is what is happening here. Let's say CEO says that this is a policy that we need to follow. So this person, whoever is working under CEO, that person should be implementing those policies in all these three different locations. Are you all getting what I'm saying? So now under CEO, whoever is there, that person is again, he is not going and doing the things directly reality, but he will submit to the some other person. Similarly, in the Unity catalog, let's say earlier what happens is within a same client, we have the two, three people, like two Databricks workspaces we are using, three Databricks workspaces we are using. Now, what happens when you are using the two Databricks workspaces, three Databricks workspaces? You need to maintain all the users for Databricks workspace one separately, all the users for Databricks workspace two separately, all the users for Databricks workspace three separately. We need to maintain it. That is the main problem that we have. So now to solve that problem, we have a Unity catalog. What Unity catalog does? So Unity catalog, if you see, is a centralized metadata repository. What is centralized? So now if we have a three different Databricks workspaces, so we can able to control the permissions at a single place. We can able to control the permissions at a single place. We can say that who should access which workspace, who should access which schema, who should access which table. So when I just I can able to control for all the three different Databricks workspaces from a single place. That is nothing but a centralized metadata. So what is meant by metadata? Data about data. If you take a book, what is the metadata about the book? Who is the author? When it is published? Okay. So all those things will come under metadata. Similarly, if you take any file, so what is the metadata for that particular file? So file name, file last modified, okay, file type. So all these things are the metadata. So whatever we are doing here, so all the metadata maintenance also will be taken care by the Unity catalog at a one place. Repository means we have, for example, how we have our Azure DevOps repository, GitHub repository, which is a common place for all the developers to share their code. Similarly here, So to share the data between the multiple Databricks workspaces, we can have a single repository. Let's say I have a data in data lake storage Gen 2, which is consumed by the Databricks 1. Now, through the Databricks 1, there are some modifications happened within the data lake storage Gen 2. So those modifications, we can make it available to Databricks workspace 2 directly. Okay, so all these things we can able to provide along with the data governance, lineage, discovery capabilities. What is meant by data governance? Some set of rules. If you are playing a game, any game, if you take any cricket match or any other game, so there should be some rules. Okay, how many bowlers you should have, how many batsmen you should have. So like how many overs one bowler can bowl max, right? So how many members should be there per team. So there are some rules. Similarly here also, whatever policies, whatever rules that you are setting up, you can able to set up those things at a single place. Lineage means we have seen in the delta live tables, there is a dependency graph. Discovery capabilities means, so the Unity catalog can able to scan the data and can able to get some kind of insights from the data by default. So it is mainly used to manage data across multiple workspaces for multiple users and multiple applications. Okay, so Unity catalog, so same point is repeated, duplicate, you can leave it. So now if you see, Unity catalog is a centralized metadata repository for Databricks that provides the data governance, lineage, discovery capabilities. It can be used to manage data across multiple workspaces, users, and applications. If you see here, so this diagram will give you more knowledge on that. If you see, earlier for Databricks Workspace 1, we need to manage users, metadata, the access control, who can access what, and clusters, everything we need to maintain it separately. But now, yeah, so for Databricks Workspace 2 also, we need to use the separately, like users, metadata, access, everything. But now what happens? So whatever clusters we have, or yeah, so whatever data that you are storing, everything, so this is the Databricks workspace 1, this is the Databricks workspace 2 for not only the clusters. If you see the data sharing, anything, everything, who can access these Databricks workspaces, what data we wanted to share, who can access what tables, who can access what folders, so everything we can able to control at a one place. So here if you see, we are maintaining for Databricks 1 separately, Databricks 2 separately. But here, if you see Databricks Workspace 1 for Databricks Workspace 2, for both, we are controlling at a one place, that is Unity Catalog, where we are storing users, metadata, access control, everything we can able to maintain at one place. So these things mostly will be taken care by the admin team. But now most of the projects are migrating to the Unity catalog. Okay, so due to this particular advantage, instead of managing the multiple Databricks workspaces, okay, for example, I'll give you one real use case. Raji, go mute. So let's say there is a new developer joined in my organization. So we are working in a two different Databricks workspaces. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to control permissions, saying like I want to add him into these two Databricks workspace. So now what happens? Admin team has to log in into this, and they need to carefully give the permissions in the Databricks workspace 1 and Databricks workspace 2. Now what happens in the Unity catalog? Now they no need to log in into two. So once they log in into workspace and the Unity catalog, so there they can just add that user and he can say whether this user should access only workspace 1 or workspace 2 also. All those permissions they can able to control it through the single Unity catalog. Next. Within the Unity catalog, let's say meta store means you can consider as a one of the data lake storage Gen 2. Okay, within the data lake storage Gen 2, remember when you create a meta store by default, you will get a multiple catalogs. Okay, so one is hive underscore meta store and hive. Okay, so there are two meta stores you will get. So one is I think hive underscore meta store and one more is meta store. There are two meta stores, yeah, not only two. So I'm saying two are the mainly used metastores. Sorry, not Hive, I think. So there is a Hive underscore metastore is the default one. Along with that, there are three more will come. So those are, I think, there is something called main is one of the uh, catalog. Okay, so like that, what happens, all the catalogs will come. Hive underscore metastore main are the two default metastores. Along with that, two more metastores will come, that I'll show you, because we won't use those two. These two default also we won't use mostly, that's why I did not remember those names. So the first thing is, when you attach the metastore means you will be attaching your databricks with one of the storage account. So this particular storage account, we can able to connect to the multiple databricks workspaces. Okay, so within the storage, now catalogs we can create. Okay, catalog is nothing but a first level of separation within the storage account. Okay, so as I mentioned, two different catalogs, four different catalogs will be created by default. One is Hive Metastore and main and some other. But we will create our own metastore. So I'll tell you, so in real time when we will create a catalog. Okay, not metastore, catalog. Under catalog, we will have a schemas. Under catalog, we will have a schema. Schema means, you know, right, how we have it databases. We will say databases, but here we will say schema. So remember here, when I say schema, schema is equal to the database you can consider. Okay. So table name. So table name means you can just consider as a table name. Okay. Now let me show you real time so that you can able to understand. If you see, this is the real time. If you have a sales data storage unit, okay, so that is a meta store. That is one of the data lake storage. You have created a sales data storage unit. Now you connect it to that meta store data lake. So within that, within the same storage also, I can maintain a three different things, or I can just maintain a one catalog. But generally what happens, az underscore dev, az underscore uat, az underscore prd. Okay. Now what happens, az underscore dev means we are maintaining the development data. Az underscore uat means I am maintaining the uat data. Az underscore prd means prod data I am maintaining. I am separating within the same storage. I am separating the three different environments, because data lake storage is a unlimited storage. But generally we won't share the same storage for all the environment. I am just giving you some example. Okay. So az underscore dev, az underscore uat, az underscore prd you will have in real time. You will see that. But generally what happens, so metastore, they will create a different metastore for the prod and dev and uat also. The reason is, like, we want to keep the separate storage for the prod and dev. But in real time, you will have the catalog names like this. Within the catalog, az underscore dev, for example, so you'll have like this sl underscore mmap. Mmap means mobile app data. Okay. So SL online data means Flipkart, Amazon, like that, online data. Local store means local store data. So within the mobile app, so there are tables like customer, orders, products. So these are the tables. So this is how we have a meta store. Then catalog, under catalog we have a schema, under schema we have the tables. Okay, so that is the hierarchy. So fine. So I don't have time to add those prerequisites and all, basically. So, but I'll just tell you the prerequisite, what is required in order to do this particular lab. In order to start from very scratch, right? So first thing is, in real time, you won't do this. Okay. This is only for the interview perspective and to give you some knowledge on the Unity catalog. I'm explaining to you. In real time, you won't do this. Admin team is mostly doing this along with, okay, developers in the meeting. Okay, so first analysis, everything they will do separately, but in the normally we will have a warm-up call for entire day. In the meeting we will together, we will finish this particular migration. Why I said in real time you won't do this, the reason is we need a global admin permission for this. we don't have even normal owner permission only. It is not possible to have a global admin permission. That's why in real time you are not doing this. Okay, so this needs to be done very carefully. So first thing is global admin permission we need. So I'll start from very scratch to show you, because anyhow we are using the pay as a subscription, our own subscription, we can do anything here. So that's why I'll create a new user with permissions, because without a new user, if I have shown you the direct databricks, so you'll not able to understand, because when you are doing within your free trial you will not get those things, because your free trial user id may not have the full permission. That's why I'll start from very scratch. I'll create a new user with the permission. Then we need a, so new user should be added to subscription. Okay, then third one is we need to create a data lake storage. Then we need to create a databricks data lake storage, databricks. Then we have a connector for databricks. So databricks unity catalog should connect to the data lakes. For that we have a something called connector for azure databricks separate service. One connector you need to use. So I'll show you how to create that. So once we have done this, so we can just tell you. So very simple. Okay, so let's start with this. First, let me create a new user. Where we will create the new users in the Azure? I told you, right? So this is admin part mostly, but we should have some knowledge on this. So where we will create? So earlier it is called a Active Directory, but now they moved it to the Microsoft Entra ID. So you can just go to Entra ID. Within this, you can see users. Okay. Within this user, you want to create a new user. You can just say new user. Okay, here I'll be giving the name as Cloud Pandit 49. Okay, Cloud Pandit 49 at the rate. So this is the domain, because I don't have any domain. So the default domain for anybody who is creating a new user will get this domain. Okay. Now, so mail nickname Cloud Pandit 49. Display name, I want to just use Cloud Pandit MS is the display name. I'm saying display name should be like this. And password, I don't want to use the auto generate password. I want to set up my own password. I'll be setting up my own password. So remember this password, you can just put something dummy for now. The reason is first time when you log in, you need to reset. Without reset, you can't use this. That's why you just set up some random password. Okay, account enabled, yes. So properties, so don't do anything here. Assignments, here you, as I mentioned, you need to add a sorry, not the group, you need to have a role. The permission that we should have is global administrator permission. Global administrator permission we should have. Select, click review plus create, click create. So if you see now, we have created a new user. What is the user ID? This is the user ID. Copy this user ID and keep it here. Okay. Now what you need to do, you need to go to your subscription. Go to your subscription. Click on the subscription. Don't give your credentials to anybody. So because you are doing very sensitive things here. If you have done your credentials to some unknown persons, they can do anything with your account. Okay. So access control here, see within the subscription. Okay, access control IAM, add role assignment. So here you need to search for, right? While we are creating a mount point, sorry. So this is for the subscription, right? The subscription level, you just can give the owner level access. Come here, select the owner. I was thinking data lake. It is this one, right? Select a members. Who is that member? Bring that member. So he is the member to whom I want to give the permission. Okay, add him, click select. Okay, then click next. Okay, so just to give full permission, click review plus SN. Okay, now adding the role SN, adding the role SN. Okay, this is done. Now what I need to do, I need to go here, I need to say sign in with a different account. use another account. Now I'll be putting the user which I have just created. Click next. So I'll be putting my password, whatever I have given here. Okay, see what I told. So first time when you log in, it will ask you for reset. That's why I told you don't use the main password, just use some dummy password temporarily. Now you can just start using your main password. Click sign. Okay, the sign in, the password also should have the one. So you should have the multi-factor authentication for the safe side, but within the first 14 days it will allow without multi-factor authentication, but later you must have to enable. So I'm saying, yeah, you can ask me later. So click next. Oh, sorry, so I just clicked next, means it is setting up the multi-factor authentication. 1 second. So just to click sign in. Now you can say ask later. So I want to ask it later. So after 14 days. Okay. Now we are here. So now, what we have done is first two things we have completed. Okay. So new user should be added to the subscription as a owner role we have granted. Here we have granted a global admin role we have granted the role. Now we need to create these three very quickly. I'll create. So I'll just go to data lake storage accounts. Click create storage account. So now let's create a new resource, cloud pandit -rg. Click OK. Storage account name is cloud pandit. You can say UC Unity catalog storage. Cloud pandit UC ADLS. Okay, UC ADLS means Unity catalog data lake storage. Enable hierarchical namespace. Click review screen. Click create. Okay. Come to the second tab here, portal.azure.com. Click on this. Databricks. Azure Databricks. So here you can choose this workspace name, Cloud Pandit ADB workspace. Okay. 1 second. In which region I have created this ADLS? East to West, right? So make sure everything in East to West. Okay. So premium I'm taking. Click review script. So same location in same region you can do it to avoid the connection issues and all. Okay. Portal.azure.com. Now again come here. So now I'll be creating a connector. It is important. Now if you come here, connector for Azure Databricks. See, access connector for Azure Databricks. Click on that. So now click create. Come here. This is the Cloud Pandit Iconology. Connector, I'll say Cloud Pandit UC Unity Catalog LS. Okay. Cloud Pandit ADB Connect. Okay, any ADB Connect I'm giving the name. Okay, so that's I'll just click review the script. You don't need to grant anything. So yeah, click create. So now what you have done? Now you just created the Unity, the connector for Databricks you created. You created the data lake storage as well. Correct? Everybody is clear?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Okay. So connector is created, Databricks is creating. It takes some time. So I think data lake also might be available by now. Go to storage account. So this is the storage that we wanted to use it, right? So just go to container. In the container, so I'll be creating a one of the container called meta store. You can just use a something called meta store because we need one container. You can just use any container. So the container name can be anything, but so I want to be like same name as a meta store, so that so when we are creating the other folders, we will not confuse. Okay, so this container is used for the meta store. We will understand that. Okay, now come down. So meantime, I'll be taking care of the other things. Okay, little careful. So what we have done, ADLS I created, databricks I created, and the connector I created. Then fourth step is I came to the container, I created the meta store container. Fifth step is go to resource. Okay, take this resource ID, take this resource ID team. Sorry, you no need to take this resource ID. Cloud Pandit ADB connect is fine. Take this name, come here, go to access control IAM. Whenever you are using the data lake storage, what is the permission we generally grant it? What is the permission we generally grant it, team?
Storage contributor.
Storage blob data contributor, because we need read, write, and all those permissions. Same permission now. Now I am granting Azure blob data contributor. Select members. You can just put name here. Okay, so this is the Cloud Pandit ADB connect. Cloud Pandit ADB connect. Just use this name. Click select. Okay, click review plus ascent. So automatically it has taken that particular uh, resource ID, review plus ascent. Okay, now I have granted the required permission. All of you clear, right, team? Okay, so now I think Databricks workspace. Yeah, so Databricks workspace is ready. But before I move on to the Databricks workspace, I'll collect some information, then we will move on. Okay, so the first thing is container name. What is the container name? Meta store I have created.
Yeah.
So next thing is, if you come down, we have something called endpoints. Within the end, see, you no need to go to endpoints and all, because to make it simple, I'm just showing all of this. Okay, primary endpoint. If you see, you take from here to here. So normally you remember we will use container name at the rate storage name dot dfs dot core dot windows dot net. We will set up like this, right? The paths ABFSS, that is not required here. So we need container name at the rate storage name dot dfs dot core dot windows dot net. That is a storage. The second important thing that we need is you go here. So copy this particular resource ID and keep it here. So these two information is very important for us. Now come to Databricks. Okay, so let me take any questions that you have till here. Do you have any questions still till here? Please let me know if you have any questions still here. Okay, if no questions, let me launch the Metastore, log in to this. Okay, so now in order to see the like configurations of the Unity catalog, you need to click on this user. You see something called manage account. Click on this manage account. Click on this. Okay, now this is the Unity catalog place. Normally, if you want to, for example, you want to log in directly into the Unity catalog, you also can able to use accounts dot azure databricks.net. Okay, you can also click on this. You will come here. Okay, generally we already logged in, that's why it is not asking to log in, but otherwise it will log in. Okay, now you see workspaces, you can add users, you can add. So what all workspaces you want to control, all the workspaces you can add, you all users you can able to add. You can create a meta stores, anything that you wanted to do. You want to allow the data sharing, you can do everything you can do. Let's go to the workspace. Within the workspace, you can see this is the workspace that we have already attached. Okay, if you have multiple workspaces, those all multiple workspaces also will show. So based on the time, I'll show you the uh, workspace. If you create a new Databricks workspace in the same account, that also will show you. So now when you are creating anything, if you go to data, so this is the place where we will create a meta store. So we have seen in this, right? So meta store is the high level configuration. Okay, first connect. So in order to do anything, in order to create a catalog or schema or tables, you need to have a meta store, create a meta store. So meta store name, I am giving it as a meta store only, meta store only. So region, if you remember, we are using the east US. Okay, ADLS gen 2 path, if you remember, I already set up the path from here to here. You can take, this is the path. You can see container name at the red storage dfs.code.window. You can just put it name here, invalid. Okay, just put the slash at the end. Access connector id, access connector id is, this is the id. From here to here you need to put here and keep it here. Okay, then just click create. Let's see. So now what happens? It is created the meta store. It is created the meta store. Now it is asking this particular data lake storage. You want to assign it to what all Databricks workspaces. So this is the only Databricks workspace that I have. For example, if you have two Databricks workspaces, you can just share it. You can just share it. Got it? Understood, team? For example, if I have a two Databricks workspaces, I can able to share the these things with these two Databricks workspaces. Clear, all of you? Otherwise, let me do one thing because I'll show you everything at once. I'll create a one more Databricks workspace. Create it. Just wait for 2-3 minutes. Once the Databricks workspace is available, I'll refresh here. I'll show you that also here. Okay. Okay. Wait for 2-3 minutes. Okay, so this is available, right? Now you can come here. Now what you can do, think, refresh it once. So that is gone because earlier one we have not saved it, right? That's why. Again you put meta store. What it is saying? Okay, so name is okay. It is created meta store, no problem. So earlier we created, right? Just now. So it is created, I think. Now you can click on that. Okay, now you can come to workspaces, assign to workspaces. This meta store I want to assign to your workspaces. So if you see two workspaces I have, I am assigning the same meta store to the two workspaces. Enable Unity Catalog. Assigning the meta store will update workspace to use Unity Catalog, meaning that data can be governed, accessed across workspaces. Data access and lineage is captured automatically. Identities are managed centrally in the account console. Okay, before enabling Unity Catalog, consider these readiness checks, understanding the privilege of workspace admins in Unity Catalog, review existing workspace admin designations, etc. etc. Okay, so because these basically sharing the permissions between the workspaces, but if you want to control some of the things, you need to be carefully observed before you enable it. Is saying so, but anyhow, I enabled the Unity Catalog for these two workspaces. Now, if you come here, team, so you might okay. So you can come here and you can see catalog, right? So if you go to catalog, now you see there are four catalogs will come by default. I told you. So Hive Metastore, main, samples, and the system are the four metastores. What is expected to come? Okay, what is expected to come to? All of it clear? So now let's say, so this is the high level metastore what you created. This is a high level metastore what you created. So what is the name of the metastore you have given? Is same metastore you have given. So this metastore, the name of the metastore is this one, right? Metastore only. So under the metastore there are four catalogs are created. Hive metastore, main, and sample, and system. There are four catalogs are created. But if you want to create our own catalog, if you want to create our own catalog, how we can able to create our own catalog? Do you know how to create our own catalog? Do you know, team? So you can see there is the option called create a catalog we can able to use, or we can also create a cluster. Through the cluster we can able to create the catalogs. Okay, but I will create a one catalog from here. Let's say agent underscore dev is the catalog. The type is standard, contains tables, views, functions, and other objects, data stored in the cloud storage. Foreign mount and query foreign data such as MySQL, PostgreSQL Server, and more. Okay, so whatever you want, whatever basically you are using comfortably, you want to store your objects in the cloud storage, or you want to query the data from the PostgreSQL Server and more. Based on that, you can able to take. For now, I am going with the standards. Okay, so if you want to give storage location, you can give by default it will take the default location. Okay, it will take the default location. If you're not giving anything, just click create the catalog. So agent underscore dev, so this is the storage, and you can also see, sorry, in the details, so what is the storage location? It is basically there is no storage location because we are not given. It will be using the root location. Okay, agent underscore dev. And so in any, like, remember, whenever you create a catalog, by default two schemas will come. So now when you create a meta store, total four catalogs are coming. Similarly, when you create a new catalog, there will be two schemas will come. One is a default schema, it is empty. Information schema, it has around 26 or 27 tables will be there. These tables will tell you the permissions. For example, catalog privilege tells you so what level of permissions that you have. Okay, you can able to query these tables and you can see who granted the permission to this particular catalog. Okay, uh, to whom he granted, to which catalog he granted the permission, what level of permission he has granted. So information schema will have all the Unity catalog related metadata permissions. Okay, metadata permission means permission related metadata details will be stored here. Okay, are you all got it? What I mean to say? Now let's say I'll be creating a one compute cluster. Let's create a cluster, create compute here. Okay, now so you can see unrestricted. I'm just going to use the a single user. Okay, then I'll be just enabling. But if you see runtime, so it is Unity catalog is enabled. So okay, you can see the summary is Unity catalog is enabled cluster we are creating. Okay, earlier when you are creating the cluster, you won't see this Unity catalog option, but now Unity catalog option is showing you create compute now. Okay, so this cluster will take some 3-4 minutes to come up. Meantime, I'll just create a one notebook. Let's create a notebook. Okay, now so you are basically, so there are some things which are restricted here, the mount point and all. So normally mount point, how it will work till mnt slash you will be using, right? But here mnt slash won't work even you created the mount point, the mnt slash won't work. So you need to use the abfss colon slash container name at the rate storage name. That way you need to create the table. So I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you creation of the tables. We will do some kind of things. Okay, so now I created one of the catalog called agent underscore demo. Okay, so just wait for 2-3 minutes. You will be able to see this particular cluster will be available. Once the cluster is available, we will do the remaining. Okay, so meantime what we can do is okay, anyhow we need to create the schemas and you can just go to catalog, agent underscore catalog. So here through the UI itself you can also create a schema. Okay, the schema I'll create is branch for mobile app underscore data is the my app. Okay, click create. So this is my schema. Okay, now let's say I want to basically create I want to create a one table. Okay, how you'll create some kind of a branch tables and all, I'll tell you. Very carefully observe here. So based on this, maybe until the cluster is available, we can save the time by creating these tables. So now you need to create a table like this. Create a table. Okay, what is the catalog name? Agent underscore dev dot. What is the schema name? Br underscore mobile app underscore data dot. So what is the table name that you want? So table name, let's say employee. So you can just give the employee. Here you need to give the employee ID int employee. Okay, employee name. Let's say string. Okay, employee joined date. Okay, join date is basically timestamp I'm giving. So like this, when you have given, you can able to give these things. Along with that, like when you have ingested some kind of a metadata details you want to maintain, you can able to maintain those things. So these all takes time. So that's why I'm just not using that. Then I'll be using the delta format. I want to load the data. Okay, location equal to. So now you need to put the abfss colon slash slash meta store is the container that we created. Okay, meta store is the container we created at the rate. If you are not, you can just go here, even you can able to find that entire path. You can just put that entire path here. Okay, so here this is a root path. In the root path I don't want to do, this is a mobile app data, so I'll say this is app data. Okay, slash under app data I want to create my table called this is employees data. Under employees data emp table, maybe for a under app data for employees itself there will be multiple tables. So the employee table, it is maybe salary table, some other table, department table. That's why under employees I'm putting the emp is the subfolder. This is how I'll be giving the my path. Then you can just, for the performance optimization, there are some properties that we can able to set it, but for now I'm just not setting up those properties. Similarly, if you want to write some comment, what data we are keeping in this particular table, say employees uh, of employees details are stored in this delta table, something like this I can be able to give. Okay, this is how the DDL will be created. Fine. Now if you see the compute, I think the compute should be available. Yes, it is available now. Come here, go to demo. Here now if you see, okay, let's say now you want to know the catalog details, everything through the SQL scripts. You can also do those things through the SQL script stream. So for example, you want to know how we can able to see the catalogs. First one is you can do it in the SQL, or you can also do it in the Python. So SQL, if you want, you can use the SQL notebook directly. So within the SQL notebooks, you can say simply show catalog. So you can see intelligence also, right? Show catalogs is the intelligence it is showing. So what it does, it will show you the catalog, whatever catalogs that we have. Clear, team? For example, we want to create our own catalog. See, I created agent underscore dev. For example, I want to create my own catalog called create new catalog, create a catalog if it is not existed. Okay, so directly if you give, what happens, so if it is existed it will fail. To avoid the failure, now we have everywhere we will be using here also, when you are creating the table, right, create table, if not exists you can able to put. Similarly here also, create catalog, if not exist, the catalog name can be agent underscore uat. Agent underscore uat you can able to give, and you can run this particular command. Now you will be able to see this particular catalog also created. Now what happens, so you can just say that here show catalog in order to see that particular catalog whatever you created. Now let's say whenever you want to create a schema, for example, you want to create schema if not exists, the schema name is uh, okay, let's say test schema. Okay, if I run it, you know where it will create. Let's see where it will create test schema. You can go and see the test schema is created where. You can see that test schema created here, no. Test schema created here, no. So start warehouse. Okay, warehouse, oh my god, this warehouse is very big one, so it will fail to start. So that's why I'll stop this. I'll start the another warehouse which is a smaller one. Okay, so this warehouse also you can, I'll show you everything. Okay, don't worry. This warehouse you need to use 2x small, very simple. Okay, my SQL data warehouse. Already full permission we have for this. Let's stop this. Okay, so it is running also. Now if you go to catalog, hive underscore metastore. See, test schema is created under hive metastore by default. So the reason why it is created under Hive Metastore, because that is the default catalog it will use as if you are not mentioning in which catalog you want to create. Now, in order to say that, hey, just to create this schema under my catalog, then you need to say use catalog called aged underscore UAT. Okay. Now you just run this. Now what happens? Okay, I'll just start using the aged underscore UAT catalog now onwards. Now you start creating the schema. Now you start creating this schema. What it does, this schema will be creating now in the aged underscore UATC. Test schema is created or not. Not only this, there are different ways you can do. For example, you are not using this command. In that case, the other way is, let's say, so for example, currently it is using which catalog aged underscore UAT. But if you say aged underscore dev dot test schema, automatically as you have given schema, it understand, okay, I need to create this test schema under aged dev. So if you see aged underscore dev, will get the test schema. Got it? Everybody understood Tim till here? Everybody understood till here?
Yes, Malaya.
Okay, please let me know if you have any questions Tim till here. We will quickly take the questions if you have any. No questions? Fine. Now, how we have used your show catalogs, we can also ask for the show schemas. Okay, executed. So when you ask for show schemas, it is showing the schemas, but these are from which catalog? These are from which catalog? Hive Metastore. So again, you need to say use catalog called agent underscore dev and give me the schemas there. Okay, I think you need to use some kind of a columns here, because multiple things when you are executing, you can put semicolon. Okay. See, under agent underscore dev catalog, whatever schemas you have, those schemas it is trying to show us. Clear, all of you? Clear, all of you? Let's say I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to know about my schema, like what is there in my schema, where it is created, some kind of a information I want to know about my schema. Then you can say create schema. So there are multiple ways. This is one way. Okay, agent underscore dev. You can just execute it. What it is saying? Describe schema extended agent underscore dev cannot be. Oh, sorry. This is a catalog. Under this catalog, I want to know about the test schema. Okay, just execute this. Okay, because if I am not using this, can you tell me which schema details it will give? So test schema only, but test schema from agent underscore UAT. Okay, so it started using this. But let's say if I want to get the test schema details from use catalog agent underscore dev, sorry, agent underscore UAT, I can just put like this. I hope you got all these simple comments, right? Clear, all of you team? Everybody understood
Yeah.
this? Yeah. So similarly, let's say I want to create a table. You can also simply say create table if not exist. So this is the internal table. Okay, this is the internal table. So whatever table I have put it in the notepad, that is the external table. Okay, let's say so create table if not exist, cust table cid int cname varchar of 50. Okay. Execute this. But in which schema it is going to create? Sorry, in which catalog it is going to create? Can you tell me? In which catalog it is going to create it?
UAT?
So the main problems. Please be on mute. Tamika, go mute, Tamika. Now, if you go to Hive underscore Metastore, okay, if you go to Hive underscore Metastore, default schema. So we have not received. I think we are currently mentioned use agent underscore UAT default. Yes. Why it came to default here? So the reason is above, if you see here, we have mentioned above, if you see here, I have mentioned use catalog. Okay, I have mentioned use catalog agent underscore UAT. Use catalog agent underscore UAT. So now what happens? It is using the agent underscore UAT. So within that catalog, it is created the table. But schema, why it has taken the default schema? Because whenever you have not mentioned the schema, remember, it will be using the default schema. It will be using the default schema. Clear? But let's say I want to create another table. Okay, let's say I want to create my trans table. So this is the transaction ID. Okay, transaction type. Okay, this is the table I want to create under agent underscore dev. One is you can say use catalog agent underscore dev, you can mention, or you can directly mention the catalog name and the schema name. What is the schema name? We created test schema dot trans. Okay, test schema. Under test schema, I'll be creating a trans table. Let's execute this. So what I will do, I'll just create a duplicate of this so that I can show you everything in the right side. Yeah, here agent underscore dev under test schema, we created trans table. You can see that table. Okay. Now similarly within this trans table, now if you want to insert the data, you can also say insert into this table. You can just give this entire table name. So this is the best way to use this. Okay, but we won't do like this in real time. We will be creating the DDLs and we will get the data. Okay, so transaction ID is 1 and IMPS. Okay, something like this, comma. So how you will basically put neft 3. Okay, some ABC. Okay, ABC. Please be in mute, everybody. Venkat, go mute. Execute this. So now when you execute, what happens? These 3 records will be inserting into this particular table. Okay, so you can see the number of affected rows are 3. The number of affected rows are 3. Again, so you can able to query this particular table. If you want to query this particular table, simple. You can say select star from. So agent dev trans and this table. Now you can able to see the data that you have inserted. Okay. Now if you want to know about this particular table, you can say describe. Okay, table extended, and you can just say this particular table. Run this. You can see this is having the 2 columns and these are the column names, column selection method. Okay, so under which catalog, under which database, under which table. See, I told you the schema is nothing but you can consider as a database. Okay, what is the table name, when it is created, who is last access, created by, Spark is created, type of the table is managed table. Okay, now let's start creating the external table. Okay, so external table, let's start creating. And can somebody, okay, fine, no problem, we will see. So the schema name is, I'll just use the test schema, or let me create a schema called what is the schema we'll create schema. If not exists under agent underscore dev, I'll be creating a schema called apps on the score mob SL silver layer or bronze layer BR underscore mobile app underscore data. Okay, mobile app underscore data. This is the mob app underscore data is the schema I'm creating. So under this schema, okay, this is the catalog, and under this schema I'm creating a employee table. This is an external table. Let's create this. Yeah, no parental external location found for the path. I think it should create this path if it is not available. Okay, 1 second, I'll just go. Generally it is not required, but I'll just go and create this path in the data lake. Let's see. Should go inside Metastore. So in the Metastore, you need to create this. Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay. This apps data. Okay, okay. App data. Give me 1 minute. I'm just thinking of something. Give me 1 minute. Location. Okay, I'll just check on this. But you can also create the Metastore, these tables like this. 1 second, we will Google it very quickly and see what is this error talking about. Okay, I think okay. So what you need to do within this Unity catalog, there is a one more condition. I did not exactly remember in the cloud resources. I think here. Okay, fine. Let's follow the documentation. Okay, so one is we can also create this through the under catalog. One is you need to go to data, click on the catalog. Okay, this is Metastore, right? I think you can come here. You can go to catalog. I think within this only you can do. We are trying to create here. Within this, I also have seen somewhere. getting exactly, yeah, here I think. For example, what I will do here, one second thing here. Okay, fine. So this is the part I'll be taking and keeping here. abfs:// meta store, but I'll say app date. No. So what you will do from the this, you can just to take the actual path. So you don't need to give entire path, give till the root path. My external path. Options. App data I want to use. Okay, it is successful. Let's see, will it work? App data I have used it, right? Okay, it is created. Now whatever you have done, right, describe table. Now if you ask for the describe table here, describe table, and this is a emp table. This is the schema. In this schema, execute this. Now you should be able to see the type of this table is external table. Okay, this is a managed table in Unity catalog, whatever we created here. So this is the external table. Okay, this is how you can create the managed and external table in the Unity catalog. Okay. Now this everything we are doing in the ADB workspace 1. Now let me open the ADB workspace 2. We can see what is happening in the ADB workspace 2. Launch workspace. Okay, you can come to catalog because we have added the meta store to here also. Okay, we have added the meta store to here also. You can see here whatever we have done in the ADB workspace 1, it is also reflecting here. But if you want to stop this sharing, we can able to control those things as well. I think here shade, yeah, sorry, not here. So there itself we have added the meta store, right? So based on that we can see whatever you have added here, it is reflecting here. Whatever you add here, that also will reflect there, because you are syncing these two and you are controlling these two databricks workspaces from the single place, that is the one Unity catalog central place. Okay, yeah, that's all team. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Yamal, I mean, you created delta table, right? Those are always, I mean, stored in the data lake or inside the serverless SQL. Also, we can choose
Serverless SQL. Where we have serverless SQL?
I mean, SQL warehouse we have, right? The
No,
below.
that is totally different. Here it is storing in the meta store only.
Okay.
Yeah, one more
I
thing.
mean, delta table. Yeah.
More thing. Here within this queries, right? You can just click create query. Whatever I think. 1 second. Give me 1 minute. So you can create the warehouse and you can also query these tables here. Okay. So one more thing. Not here, right? We created, yeah. Here we have created the warehouse also. Go to queries. So this is the main one. Create query. Here we also created the data warehouse. If you see, we already created the data warehouse, right? So these particular Unity catalog tables, everything. Okay, that is, yeah, this is the one. Maybe it will come up when you write the query. So now what you can do, you can simply, for example, mobile data. So this is a table I want to query. So one is you can just bring it this table here, select start from, and you can run this. So what happens automatically, the data warehouse will start and you will see the data here. You can able to query the data here and say, okay. Yeah, tell me your questions. So serverless means in the data warehouse is totally different from this one. Okay.
Okay.
These tables we are
I
storing
mean,
in the data lake. Okay.
yeah, you mentioned external, right? Those are nothing but the delta tables, or like
External
while
tables
creating
I have
you.
mentioned here. You have to mention here using delta means delta table will create. Using CSV means CSV table will create. Okay. Backend, the format is CSV it will use. When you use a format of delta means it will store the data in terms of the delta format. Got it? I think we have not inserted any data here. Correct. Okay, next. In the trans we have loaded some data. Let me execute that. Next. Any other questions, please let me know. Okay. Okay, fine. If no questions, now there are some questions people posted in the group. I'll just start answering those things also. But before that, let me stop the recording.